And we're on.
That was your silent one.
Silent one. So we're on. So listen,
Yep.
a big, huge welcome to Emmanuel, who's basically traversed he's traversed the universe to make it back to us on the Flixters. And hang on a second, Deval's leaving already.
I disappeared and came back. I traversed the universe and came back just now. Sorry.
Like the Flash.
Yeah. So listen, folks, thanks for joining us. Thanks for downloading this episode. Hopefully you're going to enjoy this one. We've got a great show coming up for you. We've got a huge review, chat, spoilers, you name it, everything about Black Panther Part 2, Wakanda Forever. So Deval, Emmanuel and I, we're going to be going through that, chucking in some movie news, chucking in Anniversary Corner. And if we've got time, Deval, we'll do Pearl.
Time, yeah.
Because I managed to watch Pearl actually. So yeah, we can. If we don't watch it this time, we could talk about it another time.
Yeah.
But listen, so welcome, Emmanuel. Where you been?
Vietnam. Good morning, Vietnam.
Exactly.
That's
Vietnam.
Usually that's Deval's line.
Always got to do it. That's it. Always got to do it. It was good there, yeah. It was a good day, yeah. You enjoyed it?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I would recommend it. Good.
Nice one.
Yes.
Nice.
I think we've got some Vietnamese listeners, so I'm sure. Have you got any words for them? Anything in Vietnamese you want to say to them?
No. I'm not even gonna try it. I'm gonna cock it up anyway.
Okay. All right, then.
All right. Well, listen, look, it's great to have you on the show, Emmanuel, and let's get into episode 215. So listen, look, Deval, let's do shout outs.
Yeah, so first shout out, probably the only shout out actually, it goes to Zakroff, and he saw Black Panther Wakanda Forever a day before everyone else. It came out for him. Yeah, it came out for him on the 9th of November on a Wednesday, and he saw it. He spoke about it on Instagram. I ignored his Instagram, so Zakroff, forgive me. That's why I was ignoring you for 2 days, because I didn't want to see anything that you said. But I know you. But I saw it afterwards. He loved it, and he's made some notes about it, which I'll talk about later. But big shout out to Zakroff. Another quick shout out goes out to Gadvino, who he actually watched the Triangle of Sadness. He watched it a couple of days ago, and I must say, this guy, he's hard to please. He's really hard to please. Very hard to please. Yeah. He gave Triangle of Sadness a 10 out of 10.
What?
That film, anyone that's listening to the podcast now, if you haven't seen it, I beg you, go and watch that film. That film, I think my review was even shit. I'll be honest. The review I gave, I didn't want to give it away too much.
No.
It did not do it justice. You need to see that film.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say.
Everywhere I've seen Deval, it's like the reviews, like everyone's just like, go watch the movie. Yeah, you have to watch it. It's like a must-see movie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not on out over here. Emmanuel, in Vietnam, did you ever see a poster for it out over there?
I didn't know. I didn't see a poster for it.
Because them posters, those pictures of them posters were really funny. They're pretty cool.
That was the Puss in Boots one.
Yeah. Oh gosh. All right. So brilliant. Yeah, Zakroff. That's good. I mean, I saw Black Panther on the Thursday. So he saw it one day before me. So
yeah,
exactly. All right. We're going to get onto that. Let's do movie news now. Listen, Star Wars. Now, Deval, listen. Are you up to date with all the Star Wars?
No, do you know what? I haven't got up to date with Andor. I'm still 2 or 3 episodes behind. So
what about Tales? What about Tales of the Jedi?
I ain't started it. What's going on these days?
And normally Deval is the one who's like,
Deval is on it.
Deval's on it and shit. Yeah. So all right, okay. So listen, we can speak about those another time. But listen, tell us about this new show that's going to be hitting Disney Plus.
This one's called The Acolyte, and this is a show that I think they mentioned maybe 1 or 2 years ago, but they mentioned again recently in one of their D23 days or Star Wars days, whatever it was. And The Acolyte has started production, and this is going to be on Disney Plus. This is going to star Amanda Stenberg, I should say. Also, we're going to get Dean Charles Chapman. You're thinking, who's Dean Charles Chapman? He played Sir Tommen, first of his name, Sir Tommen Baratheon in Game of Thrones. So he was in that, and also our very own Carrie Ann Moss. So Trinity is going to show up in the Acolyte. So this is and that's just to name a few. Also Jodie Turner-Smith, brilliant British actress that we've seen in many great films and series. She's going to be in it as well. So there's going to be a really good pedigree of actors in this. So this has started filming now. So I would like to see this on the screen probably in a year's time or just under. So yeah, look out for this in 2023.
And what is this, like kind of Jedi based, or is it kind of like it's like nothing to do with that, like Andor type?
Maybe a person assisting a Jedi.
Do you know what? All bets are on. So everything you just said and maybe more. But do you know what? I think if Star Wars know what's good for them, looking at what they've released recently, think about the best shows on Star Wars right now. It's the ones without Jedis. It's the ones that don't always focus on Jedis and stuff like that. So I think they should keep this in a similar vein. So I mean, so far I don't know much about it. I'll bring more news when we get more news. But so far the Acolyte sounds very mysterious. Actually, could be a good show. We'll have to wait and see, though.
We'll have to wait and see on that one. All right, this one sounds interesting. Gran Turismo. Now, are you fans of the games?
I've got it on PlayStation, but I don't really play it that much. It takes a lot of time, and I like to play, get in, get out.
It's not your go-to, is it? Like,
when you do play it, you've got to get your steering wheel out. It's really detailed. Gran Turismo, honestly, the detail on the graphics are crazy.
Mad.
And the game comes out every like 6 years or so. They take their time on these games. So
yeah.
So what are they?
Wasn't one of the Fast and the Furious similar to like Gran Turismo?
No.
No. I was thinking of the one where it was jumping through the building. The car was just
you mean Grand Theft Auto or something?
Grand Theft Auto.
Oh, yeah, Grand Theft Auto.
Or one of those kind of games. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. And why haven't they made a film out of that? I'm pretty sure that's ripe to make into a movie.
You know what? It is, it is. They made Need for Speed.
Not a big enough fan base, maybe.
Oh no, it's got a big fan base.
Very huge,
very big.
So listen, so what's the news on this one? Gran Turismo. We're seeing it we're going to see this on the big screen, right?
Yes, and this is Sony Pictures. So Sony Pictures do have a sort of movie department as well, and they're going to be releasing films. We saw Drake, Uncharted, Tom Holland, and what's his name? Wahlberg in that one as well. So this is going to be another one that's going to be coming out. Gran Turismo, fast cars, cool action, directed by Neil Blomkamp, who we've seen in District 9 and Chappie, among other films. Who's going to be starring in this, you ask? It's going to be Orlando Bloom. Also going to see David Harbour, who we've seen obviously in Stranger Things. We saw him in Hellboy and other films as well. So they're going to be the main stars in this. But you can just imagine this is going to be something that's going to be, or could it be really true to the original computer game, or could it be something that's far removed than just have the computer game's title to really pull it along?
I think it's gonna. My guess is going to be the computer game's title, and it's far removed from it for a better story.
I think you could be spot on, because otherwise you can't just watch people racing, and there's got to be something more to it. Obviously, the race is going to be something important, but you've got a character driven.
And what is the story? Because the PlayStation games, they have like backstories in there. What is the backstory anyway for Gran Turismo?
There's no story. Gran Turismo is just you racing. There's no like chase, there's no baddie. There's
Fast and Furious reboot.
It's just racing. It's a racer's paradise, because the cars you can tweak, all these suspension, torque, this, that, all kinds of shit. So
Orlando Bloom, isn't he like? Isn't he like hitting like he's older than me, isn't he?
Probably, yeah. But I don't know. We have to wait and see what he can do. I mean, he might be a whole different version of Orlando Bloom. He could be a rugged version, not like the pretty boy that he has been in the past.
That is true. That is true. All right. Okay. Talking about Sony, right? You guys, I'm pretty sure you're going to be happy about this news, and our listeners as well. Check this out. According to reports, Marvel Studios and Sony Pictures have reached a deal with Tom Holland to return as Spider-Man in 6 new projects. So check this out. Remember at the end of the latest Spider-Man movie, I think it was kind of Kathleen it was someone from like Sony who kind of said, "Oh, Tom Holland's going to be back." Like she just
Okay.
straight
Yeah.
away, they announced straight away that he was going to be back, and now we're hearing that he's definitely going to be doing Spider-Man 4, 5, and 6. So he signed on for 4, 5, and 6. Plus, this is the big thing, Deval and Emmanuel. He could be appearing in Daredevil: Born Again.
Is it?
He could be
Okay.
teaming up. So this project involves movies and Disney Plus,
Right.
which it kind of makes sense. Like if you're going to get Tom Holland and if you're going to basically sign him up, it's not going to be 6 movies though, is it? It's going to be
Yeah.
6
No.
projects.
Yeah.
And it's going to be right. Okay, a trilogy, maybe a couple of more
Yeah.
movies, and then he turns up in kind of like a Disney Plus show or something like that.
And
But
also add in the Secret Wars and the Kang War as well, or Kang Dynasty. I mean, that's an Avengers level movie, so he's got to pop up there, or one of them
yeah,
at least,
yeah.
So
They're
But
gonna probably make it a romance thing, like in the comics with
Daredevil,
between
yeah, yeah. But what do you
mm,
reckon him seeing Spider-Man on the small screen?
yeah, I got no
Makes
beef with that.
sense.
Yeah, just as long as there's nothing too long. I mean, I can see because really and truly, Spider-Man and Daredevil are kind of ground level characters. They're kind of neighborhood, kind of look out for their patch. They're both New York, so they
yeah.
should really rub shoulders, really. So I can see that happening.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and you know what? I just kind of read a bit more and I just totally missed this, but you're right, Deval. You actually are right. So they're saying Daredevil, Spider-Man 4, the Kang Dynasty, Secret Wars, Spider-Man
Mm,
5, and Spider-Man 6.
yeah,
Mad.
It
of
kind of makes
course. Yeah,
sense, right? So they've
yeah,
locked him in for the
yeah,
next, like, what? Like, looks like 10 years or something.
Continuous work,
yeah.
mate. That's
And imagine the kind of the pay that he's going to be getting
so
for this.
Raimi. Yeah.
Mm,
Oh, man. All right. And finally on movie news, I want to kind of speak about this. This is really kind of kind of sad and funny at the same time. You know, like how we've been waiting a really, really long time for a decent Indiana Jones movie. So Harrison Ford, he's going to be back playing Indiana Jones in a 5th movie. It's going to be his last time that he's doing it. But check this out. Apparently, Disney did a test screening
mm.
and people absolutely roasted it. It was so
Is it?
bad that
Probably because he
now
came on with a Zimmer frame.
Oh,
people like the test screenings have been so bad that they are now actually shitting themselves and they're wondering what the hell they're going to do. Like, are they going to be doing reshoots? I mean, would he be willing to do reshoots, or could this just be a streaming only type of a thing?
gosh.
Oh gosh, yeah. So I
I
mean,
didn't
it's just
realize
kind of
it
sad.
was fully made already. I didn't realize it was like pretty
Yeah,
much.
that far gone.
Mm.
Yeah, so damn. Yeah, I mean, the guy is old. I mean, that's why I thought the one that came out a few years ago was Shia LaBeouf. I thought he was going to take over.
That's
Yeah,
Obviously, it
what I
didn't
thought.
happen. But
Yeah.
yeah. And what they're saying is because I think apparently this has been written by co-written by a British person called Phoebe Waller-Bridge,
she's
or
mm,
she's in it.
her ink is never dry. She's writing all kinds of shit. Honestly, she's the one that
Yeah,
obviously was part of. I think it was Killing Eve or something. Or she's got
something
another
big
show
like
as
that.
well.
Yeah,
She's just involved in
James
everything.
Bond.
She's just she's all over the place.
And apparently she's going to take over from Indiana Jones. But here's the
Mm.
thing: it's directed by James Mangold, and you guys will know this name because he directed
Yeah,
Logan.
yeah. I'm surprised.
So how the hell could they make this? Like, I just don't get it. So we'll just have to wait and see. But it's been a while, man. It's been a while since
Mm.
Harrison Ford has actually, he's donned the fedora hat and he's pulled out the whip and everything. I just hope that the guy can actually, he has the energy to actually pull it off.
Mm.
Like, seriously,
Man.
man, come on. So yeah, we'll see. You know what? We'll keep you posted on this one, folks. And the
Yeah.
more we hear about that, the more we let you know. All right, let's do a new one streaming now. This one doesn't sound too great. Killer Sally, Emmanuel, tell us about
Oh,
this.
yeah. So Killer Sally. Okay.
Mm.
Brief is basically it's the story or the telling of a female bodybuilder who killed her husband,
Oh.
Gosh.
and how basically like it's I think it's a 3-part series, not and they interview her 2 kids and other fellow bodybuilders of the husband before his passing. And yeah, it's really intriguing because back then it was a bad time because there was a lot of women. There was a lot of stories basically of women attacking or dismembering. If anyone
What?
remembers
What?
Bobbit,
Jeez.
the
Oh, the
story about
Willie.
Bobbit.
Yeah,
Cutting his dick off.
Bob. Yeah, she chopped
Ye-
she chopped
yes.
his dick off. Yeah.
So it was in that era, that time where she basically committed the crime.
My
Not
So
sure if you
gosh.
can see
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she offed him.
yeah, she offed him. Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
she offed him.
Jeez. So this is what this is a Netflix documentary, isn't it?
Netflix, yeah,
Man,
Netflix documentary.
they're true crime documentaries, man. They're on it.
Mm.
So listen, look, look, we've got Andor on there, but Deval, I'm gonna hold off on speaking about Andor until you've seen it.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
No,
Is
no,
it
no, no.
finished now? Has the last episode
It's
happened?
finished. Yeah. So the last episode
We're
ended.
catching up
So I
to.
think you've got like about 2 or 3 episodes to catch up on,
Mm.
which is a lot.
Yeah.
But Emmanuel, I mean, did you manage to catch any of it?
No, I only got the first episode out. I've just
Okay.
been way behind on that one.
Give it,
Okay.
give it some of your time, man. You'll enjoy it, I think.
Yeah.
So watch that if you can, and obviously, Deval, when you've watched it, we can speak about that. Now, have you caught up on The Devil's Hour?
I finished it. Yeah. So I don't know if last week did I mention it and did I
Yeah,
finish
you
it by
mentioned
then?
it. Yeah.
You mentioned,
Okay. So
yeah.
now I finished it, and yeah, this show, honestly, the title is a bit misleading, actually.
So it's nothing
The
to do
title,
with kind of the spirit, like the
no,
demonic
no.
and
Supernatural.
This is more to do with. This is more sci-fi, more to do with time and multiverse. It's weird. Yeah,
is
it's a bit
it?
weird. Yeah,
Oh,
but it's interesting and it's worth a watch. Yeah, it's only 6 episodes, an hour each on Amazon Prime, and yeah, the title, just get that out of your head. It's not a horror film, even though there are some
mm.
scary elements. It's more time travel and
Oh, time
multiverse
travel.
and
But there you go
things
then.
that happen that like one person knows different things that are going to happen, and he's just yeah, it's good weird. It's good weird.
Mm.
You know what? It's so
Good
funny that
weird.
you should say that some
Mm,
person like knows what's going to happen because the peripheral,
yeah.
it's set in. There's 2 timelines.
Oh,
One
okay.
is so it's set in the future in 2099, and then the other timeline is 2032. So people in the
Mm,
future in 2099, they know what happens to something happens to the human race, and it's got to do with
oh,
Chloe Grace Moretz's character and how she goes into the sim. She's been tasked to do something.
So
mm,
those are both shows that's on Amazon.
Both
yeah.
shows on Amazon to do with time travel
Mm.
and whatnot. And
You had
uh,
the tomorrow war. That was another time thing.
Yeah.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Amazon.
that was actually creepy. That was actually creepy. Do not do that again, Deval, please. Seriously. So listen, yeah, folks, go check those shows out.
Gosh.
Definitely Andor, and from the sounds of it, Devil's Hour is looking really, really good as
Mm,
well. All right, new trailers. Now, hot off the heels of our movie news last week, Deval, we were speaking about Ana de Armas, and we said, she's going to be doing what are they called? It's a
Ballerina.
prequel.
This is spin-off.
Sorry, spin-off, yeah.
Mm.
Enough.
So the trailer for John Wick 4 is out, and what do we
Yeah,
make of
that
it?
dropped. I'm gonna go out and watch it.
Mm.
I have to finish it.
Oh, finish what? What do you mean, the trailer? Or...
As in all of the Wicks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all the Wicks.
Gotta catch them
All
all.
the Wicks.
You know, one thing that I do like about those movies is there's no like the continuation of them is literally like one movie ends, the next movie just starts. It's just
Yeah.
like there's no kind
Yeah,
of like
yeah.
foreplay. It's just like get right into it, and that's what I love.
Yeah.
So this one, part 4, is I'm assuming is just going to start right after the events of part 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
But
what I got.
the actual trailer looks like mayhem. There's all kinds of Donnie Yen is in there, like kicking ass. You got Bill Skarsgård, he looks like a crazy character. Obviously, Lawrence Fishburne's in it.
Yeah.
You got I can't say his name, Hiroyuki Sanada, who we've seen in Mortal Kombat.
Oh, he's done loads.
A whole bunch of people. Like this film looks really stylistic as well.
Yeah.
And again directed by Chad Stahelski.
Yeah.
This just looks like a bunch of fun. There's a bit in a trailer where he's fighting two people at the same time. He's got one person, he's got nunchuckers, and he's just hitting a guy on the head with the nunchuckers, and it's just mad. Again, they've got the bulletproof suits, and he's shooting someone, they're
That's
blocking
mad,
it.
isn't it? Yeah.
It's just like this film
Was the
is
last one
crazy.
the last shot on the trailer, Donnie Yen and him, right? John Wick, and there's
Yeah.
like sword and gun.
Yeah. And they're just shooting each other, and they're not dying. They're not dying.
Exactly. Here's the thing, right? I'm assuming they're going to be making a John Wick 5 because I mean these movies they just keep doing a lot of money. Who would they bring? Who would they bring in?
Back. I think they're making 4 and 5 back to back or something like that. I think that's what I heard. Yeah, so it's going to be a 5th for sure. Yeah.
So who do you reckon could be like the villain, or not villain, but the guy that he goes up against?
That's a good question. That's a really
good question. Who could they bring in?
Right.
Like,
it's definitely not Indiana Jones.
I mean, Donnie Yen, he's great and everything. And who did they have in the third one? I can't even remember.
Neither can I. I know they had no. Oh no, Common was in it, but he wasn't the main baddie, was he?
No, there was always like a few kind of.
Well. I can't remember.
Other assassins.
Haley Berry was in the third one, isn't it?
Yeah,
Haley Berry was there with the dogs. That was a wicked scene with the dogs. Really good scene.
In Dubai or something, wasn't it? In the Middle East or something?
Yeah, somewhere like that. Yeah, but yeah, this is coming out in February or March 2023, and this is going to be a blast. So if you enjoy films where it's not taken too serious, yes, like he should be dead, shoot him in the head. They're not doing that. But it just needs to happen. It's a fun film. Definitely go and watch it. Go check out the trailer right now. Honestly, it's looking good.
Yeah,
mate, is the guy from Ombak? Is he still working?
Oh, you know what? That would be a Tony Jaa.
I don't think he's in this, but he's still around. Yeah, we saw him in. Didn't we see him in that film with? Oh yes, as well. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, he'd be good in this as well. He'd be very good in this. Yeah,
they would. That would be a really good little team up over there. Like them going toe to toe. That'd be good. But Tony Jaa. I haven't really seen anything like since obviously On Back and
Mila Jovovich. Was he in that film with her, or was it? I'm thinking of someone else. That film with the big sword, Dragon Hunter or something, or Monster Hunter. It came out last year.
Yeah,
maybe I'm getting mixed up.
Right.
But either way, yeah, he's still acting. Tony Jaa. He's still doing his thing.
Yeah, he's still about. He's still kicking, doing his kung fu.
Yeah.
All right, so there you have it, folks. Go check that out. I'm going to check out those shows on streaming. Now let's move on to Anniversary Corner. So we're bringing one out from back in the day. So this is 2007, 15 years ago. Fantastic Four. Rise of the Silver Surfer. Now, do you remember the hype around this developed? Because obviously Silver Surfer
is a big character,
huge character, iconic. Like obviously when you go back into the history of Marvel Comics and even just recently and everything, there was a real kind of sense of, oh my gosh, they're bringing in the Silver Surfer.
But that wasn't that because who the Silver Surfer works for? That was the
Galactus.
Galactus, that was I think that was the excitement behind him being on Fantastic Four, because then people was thinking we're going to see Galactus in the follow-up movie or something.
Yeah,
exactly. This is 2007, so this is 15 years ago now. Directed by Tim Story, stars among others Jessica Alba. Chris Evans is his first MCU, or not MCU, but Marvel appearance. And you're right, Norrin Rad, who plays Silver Surfer, who was voiced by Lawrence Fishburne, big character in Marvel. Kerry Washington was in this as well, but there's a reason why this is linked to, again, it's a Marvel film which links to our Marvel main film we're going to talk about later, but in the comics there is a bit of a connection with the Fantastic Four and Namor as well, because in the comics Namor, he's always trying to go for Richard Reed's Mrs. Susan Storm. He kind of likes her a bit, and there's been times where he's tried to get with her, and Namor is part of the Illuminati, and who's part of them? Richard Reed, Fantastic Four. So in the comics, Namor is a big character. He's linked to the Fantastic Four. In this one, they really tried to make Galactus a thing. Didn't really happen. But again, the MCU going forward, if they bring back Norrin Rad, the Silver Surfer and Galactus is something that is going to be it's going to be massive. So if they choose to do it again, we'll have to wait and see. But this one, it was an okay film. It wasn't great for me. It wasn't massively great. They tried but failed, in my opinion. But maybe at
I
least
just
they
went to
tried.
watch it for Jessica Alba.
Yeah, she's good in it.
I know. Man.
Yeah.
You're right, Devout. It wasn't kind of like for 2007. It was like, oh right, okay, yeah, that's interesting. That the thing that always freaked me out was the dance scene where he's having a party, and do you remember the bit where he's doing his twisty dancing thing on the dance floor?
Oh yeah.
Richard Reed.
Yeah. It was just like, oh man, it was just so corny. That was.
Mr.
So listen, look.
Fantastic.
If you haven't seen it, you can. Where can people catch this? This isn't on streaming though, is it?
I don't,
because this is Universal.
Is it Universal?
Is it
or is it Fox?
Would it be on Amazon then?
Should be on Fox.
Amazon?
No, it should be on Disney Plus.
Oh, actually, sorry, yeah.
I think it should be. It should be Disney Plus. I think. Yeah, it should be. So you can still catch this. So yeah, go give it a go.
Go give it a go. All right, listen, that leads us nicely into the main movie of the week, actually. So this is Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and you know what? Going into the movie, for me, my whole thing was, right, how are they actually going to deal with the stuff that happened? Obviously off screen, like the death of Chadwick Boseman. How does that play with obviously the dynamics of the movie, the storyline and everything? So that was one of the things that I was obviously keeping an eye on. Then the second thing that I was keeping an eye on is, right, who are they going to have as the new Black Panther? Is the movie going to live up to the hype? So those were always my kind of things, going into the movie. And we'll get into kind of all those things, and I'll let you know. I'll tell you if they were. But here's the thing: they introduced a new character, Namor, which you just kind of mentioned, and I didn't realize. I thought he was going to be kind of like one of those characters that they introduce. They have a bit of beef in the beginning, and then they do a team up against another kind of third party villain. But what they did was they did something completely different, where they actually had Namor as the main antagonist.
You keep on pronouncing his name wrong.
Sorry, Namor.
There's a reason behind, behind the pronunciation.
What's the reason? Tell us the reason.
So the translation of Namor is an expression of without love, whereas Namor is with love. That's what I heard is the difference between why they pronounce it Namor.
Yeah, because amor means like love.
And it's so funny that because in the first Black Panther, what's his name? The one with the claw, Ulysses Claw sang that song. What is love, baby? Don't hurt me, don't hurt me no more.
Ulysses, oh my gosh, man. That's funny. That is funny, man. But listen, look, I mean, as kind of like sequels go, this is it's a great movie. It is, I had a really, really, really good time watching the movie, and kind of a lot of those kind of questions that I had, they were answered, and then some. Like, I was like, shit, are they going to do this? And how are they going to do this? And how they answered all the questions. And I was really impressed by Angela Bassett. Like, I'm not sure if you guys.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that was impressed.
Yeah,
she was on form.
Man.
Yeah.
You know what?
Good shape.
She was the beginning of the movie.
In the Congress, was it?
Powerful, yeah. UN kind of place. Powerful.
Oh, wait, hold on. And spoiler alert for anyone.
Yeah, big time spoiler alert. But all right, okay. Look, let's talk about this. So, how they handled his Chadwick Boseman's death. I mean, in the movie they wrote in that he has what was it again?
Disease. It's a
mysterious illness.
Illness. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's no CGI, there's no kind of like, deep fake or anything like that. It's just literally, it just happens off screen. He has some sort of disease. Shuri is basically trying to find a cure, help him out. And then within those kind of initial, 5-6 minutes.
That's how it opens up.
That's it. We lose him. He's gone.
Yeah.
and then the movie opens up.
The funeral takes place. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I liked how they handled it. It was quite a like you mentioned, that all of those questions that was surrounding and outside of the movie about how they would handle everything. I thought they did a good job in handling the passing of Chadwick. What is it, commemorating or like remembering him at the beginning of the movie, which they did a really good job on the opening up with it being, like you mentioned, the anonymous disease or like unknown disease. So it hits you straight then, and then what I also liked is the pace of the movie as well. Like I didn't get bored throughout the movie. There wasn't like a dull part of it, but it was. I felt connected to Angela Bassett, where she was basically mourning. Everyone was mourning of his passing, especially I've forgotten his sister's name just now. Shuri, yeah. And she was the one who seemed to take it pretty bad. Yeah. So I thought, yeah.
No, I was going to just to add to that, the beginning, before, so we have this kind of introduction and we know that he's passed away and everything. And then they do the Marvel logo.
Yeah. And it was all of it was Black Panther.
Got me in the feels.
It was quiet. Is that usually there's always like a bit of a Marvel music to that. It was quiet.
And it was all just of him. And
they did a similar thing with Stan Lee, where when he passed away, they had I don't know what movie it was, but it was all him. And
that got me in the feels, man. And then I was in the moment and I was like, holy shit, this is deep. And then the movie opens up, like you said, that United Nations scene, powerful, the Dora Milaje.
So powerful.
Oh man. And then we slowly introduced to this thing that's living in the ocean. Like we don't know exactly what it is. And we're slowly we're hearing about this new character, this kind of, there's something in the ocean. It's taking out the CIA, and the CIA think it's the Wakandans, but they've got nothing to do with it. Shuri, she's dealing with the loss, obviously, of her brother, so she's going through that whole emotional thing, and so we've got all these kind of like conflicting stories, and everything's all kind of gelled in. But in terms of an introduction to Namor.
Namor. Honestly, this guy, like, you can see him over my shoulder. Yeah, this is the old school version of him from back in the 60s. Yeah, against Iron Man. But this version of him, when I first found out, Tenoch, how do you say his name? Tenoch Huerta. Tenoch Huerta was cast as Namor. I wasn't sure what to think, but when I found out they're changing the whole culture, the whole back story of him to be sort of the Mayans and stuff like that, I was like, this is deep and it fits in. I love the fact that his English is Spanish English. His English isn't clean American. It's different. The world isn't made up of Americans and English. Like everyone should sound like in the movies that Wakanda sound like Wakandans. They sound like where they're from. It's fine. It's good. The way he introduced, I didn't know he can fly. I'll be honest. I had no idea.
Wings on the ankles.
And the wings on his feet. It's so true to the comics, and he's just powerful. The way he introduced himself was wicked. They had no chance, and they shouldn't have a chance. And the way his people are, Zakharov on Instagram, the message he sent me that I ignored was that he loves Namor's people. The way they just show up and they're so confident. They reminded me of Thanos's 4 people.
Oh the big guy with the axe.
They're just confident. It's like they know what they're about. They just come and say. Like, even when there's a moment
when they were batting on the bridge, with,
they were fighting. It's no time to waste. And the big guy with Okoye, who gave her her weapon
to
back
play,
to fight. Because you know what? When you think about it, Emmanuel, when you think about it, they live deep under the sea. They don't fight surface dwellers. They don't meet them. He's having a
Yeah.
good fight. He's like, no, I ain't going there. Let's fight. You know what I mean?
This is an excursion, like a
Exactly.
school
He's
trip.
loving it. But no, overall, the introduction of the Tulkans or Tolokans, whatever,
Yeah,
can't pronounce it.
Yeah.
Whatever, it's wicked. The
it's
wicked.
wicked.
I
I
love them
love
a
the
lot.
way they say that. I love the way what's his name, Winston Duke. He's there's a moment in the movie, right? There's a moment in the movie where he's telling
Yeah.
people about
Yeah.
who they are, right?
How
And the
bad they
way
are.
and the way he says his name. Oh man,
Tulkan. He said they call him Kang, the
Yeah.
winged serpent god.
Yeah, just because we live in the mountains, it doesn't mean we don't have books.
I love it.
He's saying don't ramp with them. They're gangsters.
Exactly. And did you guys catch the bit where there was a throwaway comment? Someone, I can't remember who it was, out of the Wakanda and said, "Oh, his power is kind of similar to Hulk level power."
Yeah, M'Baku said it.
Mbaku
Yeah,
said that. Yeah.
yeah,
And I was just
yeah.
like, "Holy shit!" So, is there precedent? Like, does that come from the comics, or is that something that
He's
they've just
not.
said?
He's just hyping him up. He's not as strong as the Hulk, but he is very strong. But now, even that punch he gave, I thought M'Baku was dead. He
Yeah,
gave him
Yeah,
a punch.
yeah.
I
I
thought he
thought,
was dead.
he had
that
like a
chest
wooden,
was like solid wood, like some
yeah,
old 2,000-year-old wood
Mm,
protected his chest because
yeah.
he got flown.
yeah,
But no,
yeah.
for the characters in this, I mean, you're right. The story was always going to be tricky. Obviously, Chadwick Boseman died in 2020. Actually, his
Mm,
brother petitioned for the role to be recast. He said that Chadwick
Ah,
Boseman would not have wanted, like his ego wasn't that big. He wouldn't have wanted the
yeah,
role to die with him. Obviously, it's gone to this way. But
yeah,
like all the characters that were in the film, I mean, some of
but
the
what?
standouts
Yeah,
some of the standouts for me was or is, I should say, Namor gangster character. I feel
mm,
him the same kind of way I felt for Killmonger in a way, but they
yeah,
kind of crossed the line in wanting to fight and war too
it-
much. But I
yeah,
feel for him, man. You know, his
yeah.
people were colonized as well. He wants good for his
yeah. The
people.
Spanish,
Don't we
yeah,
all
I,
want good for our people? You know what I
I
mean?
think the good thing, the good bits that I liked was that this was a film where it was female heavy. Like the cast, like
yeah,
when you was watching it, it was like all of them was like strong female characters, and it worked well. Where
yes,
Do
like
you know why
in
it
the
worked well,
past, it's
Emmanuel? Do you
like
know why it worked well? Sorry to cut you off. It
yeah,
worked well because they didn't have to like spoon feed us that they were female. I mean, you don't need
mm,
to tell us. You don't need to have some sort of motto or some sort of thing. They just are. Like
yeah,
Laura Malaji, they're just gangsters. They don't need to prove anything to anyone.
yeah,
And
but
Angela Bassett is a gangster. She doesn't need to prove anything. They were strong female characters, and they
yeah,
showed it
and you
by
got
just being themselves.
yeah, them being themselves, and that was
Yeah.
the thing. It was like where we've seen a story being done with majority female cast. I remember what was that Oceans? Was it Oceans
Ocean's
oh,
8
Ocean's
or
8,
Ocean's
8?
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was done poorly. It
mm,
was tried too hard, and it just didn't work. But this, like watching it, I was pleasantly surprised because I only realized that how towards like halfway through the movie, I was like, whoa, like the only guys who I saw was Umbaku's guys, and that was towards when they came down from the mountains, and
mm,
he was interacting. But the other bit I liked as well was how they used Riri to tie
yep.
the Talokan with the Wakandans from the beginning. Um, and
Because
what else?
she's like another like Tony Stark
Tony
basically.
Stark,
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
Yeah.
child prodigy
she's got, yeah, child prodigy. So she's built technology which the
from
CIA
the
have
age of
used.
3.
Yeah, I know, and so she's got technology, and she's built something which the CIA have used to try and find. Um, what was it again? They're trying to find
Vibranium.
the
The
vibranium.
vibranium,
Vibranium.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
But the
interesting
joke
about
is,
that as well. Do you know why it's
it was for
interesting?
a
Because
science project.
yeah, they lied to her. It was really
mm,
CIA. They didn't lie to her. But it's interesting about the origins of vibranium because it comes from a meteorite
Mm,
mm,
from outer space, and obviously where did that come from? That's something that we could find out some more history about. It comes into Wakanda. Obviously, they've got a massive mountain of it, but also it's now proven that it's also gone to where Namor's people were from. And where
Yeah.
was he from? Again, very interesting. But where they were from is near the Yucatan Peninsula. And if you know anything about that, 65 million years ago, a meteorite came from space on the Yucatan Peninsula, and that's what killed the dinosaurs. So who's to say that meteorite weaved
Mm.
into real life facts actually contain vibranium? So they've weaved in real life incidents to geographically, show that these things happen. So it's a good way that they mix that in there. And little
Mm.
meteorites are coming from space all the time around the Antarctica and the Arctic and so on. And so around
Mm.
those areas, because the first scene was near the Arctic Sea, I believe, and it's very very like it's very very possible that some vibranium might have landed there too. So I like that bit of scientific truth that they put into that.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, it's brilliant. So yeah, look, so we introduced obviously to Namor, we introduced to Riri Williams. So this means going forward, lads, so we're gonna get a, what was it? Is it an Ironheart TV show, isn't
Ironheart
it?
series, yeah,
We're getting
series.
Ironheart TV show. So is she gonna be picking up the mantle left by Tony Stark, or is this gonna be like
I
you know,
feel that it's not. It's going to be. She's. It's not. I think the series. I feel that the series isn't going to be directly picking up from Tony Stark. I think it's basically going to start its own thread where she somehow is influenced by Tony Stark, but it's not so much as picking up after him.
all right, yeah, that
'Cause
kind of makes sense. Yeah, there was a bit in the movie where Namor, he's I keep saying Namor, where he's talking and he uses the word mutant.
yeah,
Yes,
yes,
yeah.
because it
Really
So
was
good.
when he
have
was
you
talking about how he.
noticed? Yeah,
Yeah,
have you noticed they are dropping the word mutant in obviously movies? They're dropping it in TV shows. For example, we had Ms. Marvel and we had
yeah.
She-Hulk as well. So they are kind of gearing up to this whole kind of mutant thing, right? They're dropping these
Yeah,
little hints.
their lawyers
Which
are allowing them.
Yeah,
yeah,
they own it
but
now. They own it, so they can say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
they can basically say mutant whenever they want. So
What did you think of? What did you think of Okoye? No, is that Okoye? Yeah, Okoye. Danai Gurira's character, the general of the Dora Milaje.
oh man,
Oh,
Her
what, when she
arc
got
was quite
fired?
interesting. Yeah, has got some really
Yeah.
powerful scenes. Because she's really loyal to the throne. Like that's her
yeah,
life. She said,
Mm,
"Let me die on the throne." And I think that was a really powerful scene. The way
it was.
Angela Bassett's character was just saying, like, "I've lost
you're out of it.
everything. Where was he before when Killmonger?" Again,
But
we'll come to Killmonger as well. But yeah,
yeah.
she's really powerful. I think she stole a lot of scenes that she was in.
But
Yeah,
that came. But that made an impact because rather than her basically going to say like find my daughter or whatever, she was like you're fired,
Mm,
and then she recapped to basically I told you, I
mm.
warned you not to take her, you
She's
took her,
hurting.
and then yeah,
pain.
and
Yeah,
then it was
Hurting.
just like raw, okay,
yeah.
Yeah.
When she got when she got on her knees to be like forgive me, give me one more chance, man. I
Felt
was
for
just
her.
like, oh man, what
I
a
felt
scene
for
that
her.
was. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was so
yeah,
great.
she's a good actress. I think she was a little bit wasted there. I think a little bit. There's a lot going on in the 2.5 hours, and I think she was a little bit wasted. Also, Michaela Cowell's character, again,
Yeah.
big
Oh
actress.
gosh,
A,
man, she was in
a
it
bit
just
of
a
a
tiny
little bit
bit.
of a yeah. She warned us there. Saw her and Jimmy Fallon, and she said, "I'm only in it a little bit." I think she warned people because she knew that
mm,
she'd been cut out a bit as well.
mm,
Mm,
And her relationship with Io, the other Dora Milaje lady that we saw in her first. She's the first Dora Milaje we saw. Remember in Civil
yeah.
War, she said to Black Widow, touch him and I will beat
and
you up or
I'll
something.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And
she's
then
on
the
my
other
phone, my
one,
screensaver.
and then remember in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, who was the one who turned up in that one?
That was her as well.
That was her
Io.
as
That
well.
was Io.
Okay.
Io's gangster. She's quiet, but she always wants to fight. She's got a half. She's always got a half smile because she's ready to fight.
Yeah,
She's ready
man.
to fight.
She's badass. She's really, really
Mm,
badass. And then kind of like midway through the movie, we see Lupita Nyong'o. Her character comes
mm,
back. Nakia, she comes back and she goes off on a mission. She
mm.
kicks ass. She basically, brings the princess back and everything. And
Yeah.
she's pivotal because obviously at the end of the movie. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, in terms of Shuri becoming, this is a massive spoiler, by the way. This is so if you have,
I mean, this whole thing is
Oh
spoiler.
yeah,
We
yeah,
said that at the beginning.
yeah.
so Shuri becoming, the Black Panther. I mean, we knew this was going to happen because it's obviously in the comic books. It kind of makes sense, right? That the sister would take over the mantle,
Yeah, but I liked how
Yeah.
how they handled that, because when she took the herb, she met Killmonger,
which
and
was wicked,
that was
I
like,
brilliant.
love that
what?
bit. Love that bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love
Are
that
you
bit.
going to
I miss him.
what did he say?
Are you going to be noble like your brother, or are you going to be like basically a killer
Take
like
care of
me?
business.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Take care of
take your
business.
business.
Do you know what? He was in it for 5 minutes, and I missed him so much. You know,
Yeah,
I missed him. I missed
I
him. He's a
know.
good villain.
But
He's
you know what?
really good.
I liked her costume after that, because I felt with that scene having came before, it just the my interpretation of the design of her costume was that it was a blend of the silver from her brother's costume and the gold from Killmonger's costume, and then her touch was the white dots that was on the mask
Yeah.
and collar.
So basically, she's a bit of both. She's going to be a bit of Killmonger. She's going to be a bit of, obviously
T'Challa.
T'Challa, and she's going to have her own little thing. Because I love the bit where the helmets were there. She's looked at the helmets, but then she was like, "Nah, I've got my own
Yeah.
one." So she's just
Yeah.
kind of this blend of this whole thing, and that fight scene between her and Namor was really, really good as well, because at some point you're thinking, oh my gosh, he's gonna deal with her, and and then she has to have the strength and the grit and the kind of the fire to take the pole out of her body,
Yeah.
and she just
Mm.
goes after
I
him.
must say though, I
But there
mean,
was
She should have died.
glitches in that movie.
He
There
would
was
he would
glitches in
he
that movie.
should he have killed her?
he
Really, realistically speaking, though, he's more powerful, right?
yeah. And he put it wasn't even through her side like Iron Man in Infinity War. Just looked like it got went through her belly button.
Belly button.
Yeah,
That's
it
going
went.
through your spinal cord. Like
Yeah.
these people are too like durable. She's human. She hasn't got any. No, sorry, no.
No,
She
she
has
took
got the
the
heart
herb.
shaped herb.
No,
I
she
forgot.
took the
Sorry, I
yeah.
forgot. I
She's got
forgot.
powers
Yeah,
now.
that makes sense. Yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
But
that fight was really emotional, and the way it was shot, it was kind of shot kind of close and soft focus, and it wasn't your normal kind of wide sort of Marvel fight where the backgrounds all getting mashed up. It was really intimate, which
yeah,
I think the whole film was intimate. So I think the fight scene is of two people who have conflicting ideologies and are both looking to protect their people. And a fight is a lot more than just them. So there's a lot of emotion involved, which I think
yeah,
they kind of captured because it was really big hits and just really emotional conflict that was going on in that fight. So I think they did do a good job with that.
yeah,
I think.
yeah.
there
I
was a
liked it.
couple of bits. There was a couple of bits. Why? I mean, if I was rating it, I wouldn't give it a full 5. But I'd give it maybe like a 3.5, 4. And the reasons is because there was one or two bits that didn't make sense to me. The first one was when she dropped from the sky after putting on the suit, and she meets on M'Baku.
Yeah.
And the bit that was silly was the the arm wrestle. I was like, hold on, you just ate the heart-shaped herb, punched the
Now,
mannequin in the wall, and then
now
you
but you know, I can answer the question.
go on.
He didn't see her do that. She's dropped in, and he knows if you're the Black Panther, you're meant to be strong. So
You got
he's
to be
just kind of
powerful.
testing her strength to see. Obviously, she could have dealt with him, but she's just showing him, okay, I've got the power, and then that's where he's like, okay, yeah, she's got it. So I think that's what it was meant
Yeah.
to prove. But it looked a bit cheesy. I know what you mean, but
Yeah. And then the other one, the other one was I wasn't fully comfortable with the proportions of her, because she was way too slim for
okay.
me in the costume, and small as well in the stature. So when she basically fell on the side of the ship and basically doing all of her agility, I felt that was nicely done to compensate the fact that the build and strength wasn't visible,
Yeah.
like how it would be with if Chita,
T'Challa.
Chadwick, T'Challa
Yeah.
was there.
T'Challa.
So
You know what? That does remind me though, because I did actually think to myself, there was a moment where I think, how does she know how to fight? Has she been doing?
Oh
Has she
my!
already done
Yeah,
training?
She's not a fighter. She's in the lab. She should not know any moves.
Yeah,
She should be
that was
strong,
the
but not
only
have
thing.
any moves.
I
yeah.
was like, how does she know like how to do all this sort of stuff? So
It was
like,
like
you know,
Star. It
that
was like
was
Star Wars with the lightsaber, learning
No
knowing how to do all
sense.
the.
No
yeah.
sense.
So it was that bit was all kind of like, that was kind of like the plot hole
Mm.
for me. But
Oh, and the other one. Sorry,
go for it.
the last one is when how she does the finishing move to Namor, and when
Oh
she
yeah,
goes
yeah,
Wakanda forever, and then the
yeah.
propulsion automatically fires up. The ship was already
Oh yeah.
self-destructed. So
I,
how did
I
she
think
know?
I think
How
she
did
knew
she know?
from the first film, Black Panther 1, there was a scene where Agent Ross was piloting the remote. Remember when the ships, Killmonger were trying to send all the weapons out, and
Yeah,
Agent Ross was trying to stop the ships by getting into the remote control plane and shooting them down. In that
right.
scene, there's a moment where he does the same thing, and she tells him, "Oh, just put a cross on your arm," and he does it, and it sort of blows something. It blows
But
another ship.
Oh.
but the ship was already put together, right?
Yeah.
When that ship, what I'm saying is that in this movie, the ship
Mm.
she did it like a self-destruct, and then
Yeah.
the ship blew up, right?
Yeah.
So it was the exhaust that was left and behind Namor.
Mm.
So when she said Wakanda forever, that was like a off chance that it was going to basically activate.
She's
It
a
would have
tech
been
girl. She knows all about the ship. She maybe constructed them. So
to
she
me it
probably
was
knew the engine was there. If you try and like ignite the engine, it's going to blow up. So she probably
Mm.
knew
voice
that was going to work.
activated. Nah, it didn't work. It didn't
She's
work for
tech.
me.
She's
It,
tech. This girl
She's
knows.
I would have I would have preferred the beads like or some sort of
Okay.
switch.
Okay.
Yeah.
she's put
Yeah.
something in them or something. Yeah, like okay, yeah, no, I get what you're saying. All right, let's speak about some of these kind
Uh,
of the connections that we're seeing
mm,
with the other kind of titles. So the director of the CIA,
Val. She was there.
Val.
Yeah.
So
Val.
Julia
Are you talking
Dreyfus.
about the relationship between her and
I didn't
her
see that one
ex-husband?
Agent
coming.
Ross.
Yeah,
Yeah. Me
with
too.
Agent
Yeah.
Ross.
Mm,
So hang on a second now. So she's the director of the CIA, but she's also putting the Thunderbolts together. So
yep.
is that
Yeah.
something that she's doing on the side,
Probably. Yeah. Off menu.
She
I
got
off
reckon
a
so.
lot
menu?
of
Yeah.
side hustles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then so like in terms of the kind of like the ending of the movie, Shuri, she kind of gets to do, say goodbye.
Mm,
She travels to Haiti, and
mm.
Mm.
this kind of this somber moment, which I thought was really really great. And whilst I was watching that movie, there's a part of me that was thinking deep down inside, when she was actually filming that scene, she
Was
must have
she
actually
really
been,
crying?
yeah,
Like,
she
Yeah.
was actually
yeah,
probably feeling so emotional, or they all
yeah,
were.
yeah.
And
Mm,
that
Yeah.
I felt that. But then there's a kind of like a little bit of an Easter egg
mm.
where she's got a nephew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nakia
Yeah.
brings some kid out, and we actually saw that kid when the mum first came to Haiti to look for Nakia. He was one of the
Oh.
kids that showed her where she was. He pointed her out, so we saw him from the
Mm.
beginning. But yeah, that's she's sort of working out. Okay, this is T'Challa's son with Nakia. Obviously, they had a thing. You got
Yeah.
to think of the timelines. Like the blip happened 5 years. Add that
Yeah.
onto it. So I guess maybe because he looks about 11 years old to me or
Mm,
something like
mm,
that. I don't know, 10,
mm.
11, maybe 9. I don't know. But yeah, he's kind of got Chadwick's smile a little bit. He's got his little bit of a,
Yeah,
the way his
cute
mouth
little
goes when
What
he
with
face.
smiles.
the
Yeah,
dimple?
exactly. So
Yeah.
they've got a good boy for it.
So listen. So here's the question then. So are they obviously they've introduced, because this isn't part of the comics. I don't think he had a kid in the comics.
Don't know.
No, but I think this was them trying to handle the continuation of the,
Yeah,
what we was talking about, the topic outside of it was
yeah,
how are we going to basically get a new
mm,
cast a new Black Panther.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
So they could, like, when obviously they decide to do a part 3, this kid
mm,
will be bigger. Obviously they might have a newer, like another actor playing obviously the Black Panther. But then where does this, so for Shuri this was just a one-off, because she's still got the power though.
yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like she doesn't want it too. It seems like she might not want it to
Well,
be official.
she didn't. Well, yeah, that how that came across to me was when M'Baku basically
Mm,
went to the cliff, and then
mm,
he was like,
mm,
he just presented himself and was like, yeah, if I'm like in her place until
mm.
if anyone wants to challenge me.
Yeah.
And
I like
cut to
M'Baku,
next scene.
He made me laugh.
The guy's massive.
On that, I think that was camera tricks. They made him out because at certain times
He
he
was
looked massive.
huge.
I reckon they played with the camera on that because in the
Yeah,
comics he's a
Yeah.
massive guy.
yeah.
But done well.
How does he say it again? He goes, "Tulkukan." It's the way he says it.
Yeah,
It's just like
too
so
cool
funny,
can.
man.
And it's
I
so funny.
loved it.
Too cool can or Namor. Tenant Quota couldn't swim before this. He had to take lessons.
That's
Imagine
mad.
that. He was
Really?
Yeah.
cast as Namor the Submariner, and you can't swim. He took lessons. All his crew, they took
Yeah.
Mayan lessons. They didn't speak Mayan before this. They're
Okay.
gangsters.
Wow.
They're
Yeah,
gangsters.
it's
Yeah.
it's great that they do it kind of because he's been around since what the
AD.
1600s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, he's been around
216
Long
since
time.
AD or
a
something like
long,
that.
long, long time. So, so obviously we're gonna see Namor again. There's gonna be
Mhm.
like a team up. The Wakandans are gonna need his help and vice versa and whatnot. So it's all gonna play into Secret Wars and who knows what else coming down the
What,
line.
Doctor Doom or something? Was that
Yeah,
the
there could be
rumors?
that as well. Obviously, with Fantastic Four. So they're setting up obviously like the new Avengers, obviously with the new T'Challa,
Young Avengers too.
Young
All
Avengers,
these kids
Riri
everywhere.
Williams,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that's all definitely going to happen. But okay, here's the thing. So in a recent interview with Ryan Coogler, he kind of came out and said, "I've given everything that I've got
Mm.
into this
Ooh.
movie." He's going to take
Right.
some time away,
Ooh.
and do you reckon they are going to do a part 3?
But then maybe he might not be the one directing it. It
I don't
sounds
think
Yeah,
like.
he's gonna. I don't
he
think he's
could
gonna
be an
do
executive
the third
producer.
one. I
Okay,
don't think he's gonna
maybe.
do the third one. I don't
Mm,
feel.
mm,
In the interview he said that he hasn't had time to grieve the loss
mm,
of Chadwick Boseman. So
mm,
it's almost like as if he's like he doesn't want like anything else. Like for now, he just wants to go away and cry. Basically, this is what he's
mm.
turned around and said. So I wonder, how long would it take for them to bring another Black Panther movie? Like 2 years, 3
Well,
years?
it's been 4 years since the last one, so it could be something similar. You never
I
know.
I feel maybe he's taken a time out because I mean he's done a good job on the first one, good job on the second one,
Mm,
and he's probably exhausted and creative wise he needs that time out to be able to think of
Yeah,
if he's going to do a third one, he needs that time out to actually come up with a decent story for the
yeah,
third,
yeah.
and he can't really basically be rushed on it.
Yeah.
That's what.
yeah, absolutely. And which better director? I mean, who are you going to get to do another Black Panther movie? So at the end of the movie, so at the the credits roll, it's just literally just Black Panther will return. So we
Mm,
are going to see Black Panther again. We don't know when, which movie that's in, but we are definitely going to see it. So in terms of kind of rating, obviously the first Black Panther is that's
yeah.
great, but where does this fit in with sequel? Well, actually, no, is this the first sequel? No, sorry, we've had Thor sequels, we've had Iron Man sequels.
Mm,
This is a great sequel, I got to say.
yeah, it's good. I'll probably give it a 7 or so. I've got to see it maybe another 1 or 2 times, but I really enjoyed it. Very
Yeah.
emotional.
Mm,
But I wouldn't put it in my top 5. No, but
yeah,
yeah, it was good film. Good film.
Yeah,
it was
good
good.
send off in a way. All right, well, listen, look, we've hit we're close to the hour mark, so we'll probably leave Pearl for next
Yeah,
week, right?
definitely. Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
we'll talk about Pearl next week. So, Emmanuel, thanks for joining us all. Coming back and gracing us with your presence.
Always a pleasure.
We've got to do this again. What's the next big movie, Deval? Is Avatar, I think.
That's the next big one, yeah. But in between that, I'm sure we can slip in something else. No, the hidden gems are really peeking through, and I think there's a couple that we've got to talk about.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll definitely come back strong next week for
All right,
sure.
well, keep it
There's a
locked with
film
the
with
Flixters.
Brendan
Sorry, go on.
Fraser. What's that one? Brendan Fraser, the one where he's really big. What's it
The
called?
Whale.
The Whale. That's people are talking about that. Maybe we
Man,
got to talk about it too. Yeah.
They're talking about Oscar
Mate,
contender.
we got to talk about it.
Standing ovation that they gave him at the Cannes Film Festival. Definitely, man. Let's get on to it.
Mate, yeah. So maybe we can talk about that soon.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, listen, thanks again for doing this, and I'll see you on the next one.
Yeah. Peace out.
Peace.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Just pop in the Flixters podcast.